Next, we'll talk about the features in QuickBooks that will allow you to see your data the way you want. And to do that, we'll start with the company snapshot. Now, the company snapshot is sort of like a dashboard that gives you a dashboard view of your data in QuickBooks. And you can customize this information to add different applets. Now, there's also a payment snapshot and a customer snapshot. Next, we'll talk about the combined report feature. The combined report feature will allow you to combine reports for multiple company files. Now, to use this feature, you'll just click on Add Files. You'll add the company files that you want to see combined. Now, there is a practical limit of about 250 different company files. You'll choose your date range, you'll choose your report basis, and then you'll choose the reports that you want to see combined. And then simply click on the Combine Report in Excel button. Now, here's the balance sheet standard. You'll notice you have a list of accounts on the left-hand side. Each company file has its own column, and then you're totaled in the last column. Now, in order for accounts to be included on the same lines, the accounts will need to match for both name and number. So here's the balance sheet summary. This is the profit and loss standard. There's a statement of cash flows. There's a trial balance. There's the profit and loss by class. And then you have the sales by customer summary. Next in reporting, we'll talk about our included ODBC interface. With QuickBooks Enterprise, we include an ODBC interface that will allow you to create custom reports outside of QuickBooks using your QuickBooks data with applications like Microsoft Access, Excel, and even Crystal Reports. So with this feature, if there was some sort of report that you needed that you couldn't build inside of QuickBooks, very possible for you to build it outside of QuickBooks using your QuickBooks data. And last in reporting is the QuickBooks Statement Writer. Now, the Statement Writer is what will allow you to create GAAP-compliant reports using your QuickBooks data. Now, the QuickBooks Statement Writer gives you a large selection of customizable financial statements in which to choose from. It includes balance sheet reports, income statements, cash flow statements, budget reports, retained earnings statements. You can even include supporting documentation like cover letters, audit reports, compilation reports, and review reports. With the Statement Writer, you can create multiple reports at one time. The Statement Writer will allow you to do roll-up, so you can include multiple accounts on a single line. You can change category headings. And with the Statement Writer, you can save your customized financial reports to run them again for future periods. Now we'll talk about the different ways that you can access QuickBooks Enterprise. As I mentioned earlier, QuickBooks Enterprise will allow you to scale from 5 all the way up to 30 simultaneous users. QuickBooks Enterprise is also the only version of our software that we support in a terminal services or remote desktop services environment. Now here's the typical installation for a QuickBooks product. As you see, QuickBooks Enterprise is installed on each of the workstations, and the users share data located in a central location. If you have a remote user, that remote user would need to log into one of those computers and take over that computer as if they were sitting in that seat. In a terminal services or remote desktop services environment, QuickBooks Enterprise is installed on the server, and then users log into the server to access QuickBooks Enterprise from practically anywhere in the world. This configuration can save your IT staff time as well, because they only need to update QuickBooks or install QuickBooks on the remote desktop server. Now we also offer a QuickBooks Enterprise Solutions hosting service. Now with the QuickBooks Enterprise Solutions hosting service, we take care of all the IT hassles for you. For just $54.99 per user per month, we'll host your QuickBooks Enterprise Solutions application on our servers. With QuickBooks Enterprise, you can work in two company files at the same time. To access this feature, we'll go to File, Open Second Company. Now QuickBooks will tell you when you're opening a second company, you will have full control of QuickBooks in your primary company file and some restrictions in your second company file. We'll choose the file that we wish to open. And now we can work in that second company file. So if I needed to enter a transaction or run a report, I can do that in my second company file. QuickBooks also includes a calendar. Now the QuickBooks calendar for any selected day will show you any transactions that you have entered on that particular day. Now this is zoomable, so I could double click to bring up that transaction on my screen. And if I had any upcoming actions in the next 7 days or past due transactions, they would show up on this view on the right. Now I can look at this calendar on a monthly basis. I can get a weekly view, or I could just look at a single day. Next, we'll talk about the expanded user controls and security features that are built into QuickBooks Enterprise. But first I'm going to show you the permissions that are built into our Pro and Premier software. Now user permissions in our Pro and Premier software is divided up into the 8 broad categories that you see here on your screen. And if you're to give someone access to one of these categories in our Pro and Premier software, that user would then be able to do everything in that particular category. So we'll take a look at the sales and accounts receivable category, and you'll see that if you give a user access to this particular category in Pro and Premier, that user would be able to do everything on this list. So they would be able to enter invoices and sales receipts. They would be able to receive payments and deposits. They could process returns. They would be able to access customer job information. They would be able to access your accounts receivable register and individual customer registers. So everything on this list they would have the ability to do with just that one permission choice. Now in QuickBooks Enterprise, we get very specific with user permissions. So when you create a user in QuickBooks, you're going to assign that user one or more user roles. And user roles are designed to simplify or speed up the process of creating users in QuickBooks Enterprise. Now, we include 15 predefined roles. We even include a view-only role, so if you wanted to give someone the ability to look at everything but change nothing, then the view-only role would accomplish that. Now, we give you the ability to delete roles, you can duplicate them, you can modify them, and you can create brand new roles from scratch. Now, we'll take a look at the Customers and Receivables role, which closely matches the Sales and Accounts Receivable role that we looked at for Pro and Premier. And you'll see that you can get very specific with user permissions in QuickBooks Enterprise. Now, I can give someone the ability to create an estimate, but let's say I wanted to limit their ability to create an invoice. I could give that person the ability to view and create, but not modify, delete, or print. I could also control whether I wanted someone to be able to override a credit limit or receive payments against those invoices. I could give someone the ability to view certain reports. So if I wanted them to see my job reports, but not my employee and payroll reports, I could do that in QuickBooks Enterprise. We also give you an easy way to view user permissions, and you can do that by either user or by role in an easy-to-read report form. So this would allow you to go through your user permissions by user or by role and make sure that you haven't given someone the ability to do something that you really don't want them to do. This is also a great place to see the 115 different permission choices that are available in QuickBooks Enterprise.